Phenomenal. So I should repeat the rules at this point in time, everybody. We are just looking to talk to Americans that are at least 18 years old that support Donald J. Trump. If you'd like to come up and have a conversation with us, go ahead and drop a MAGA accompanied by your age down below in that comment section. We'll get you pulled up here. What is going on, Lively? Do you support Trump?
No way. I didn't think I'd get in here, actually. Yeah, but I would say that I'm open to changing my mind.
Okay, you got a little bit of lag as well as there's some background noise there with the wind. Is there possibly anybody anywhere that you could go that's a little bit more quiet?
Yes, I'm throwing out a garbage right now, and then I'm going inside.
Great,
like 2 seconds. I'll hurry.
Phenomenal, man. I'm going to go and put you on mute while you're doing that. And honestly, let's just go ahead and do a very quick 1v2. We're going to go to get another guest up here to start the conversation with. But as soon as you get back inside the house, feel free to unmute and we'll hop into things. We got CD loading up, everybody. Welcome in, CD. Are you MAGA?
Hello. Yeah, I'm Maga.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Oh, man, it's you. It's been a while. You stopped trolling me for like months. And now you're back again. Moving on. So that's a troll. They used to come up here all the time.
And
yank my chain.
Echo.
Jesus Christ. I don't even know where an echo like that comes from. We're going to move on to the next guest. We got Zach loading up. And then also for everybody with the love over on YouTube Super Chat, I see you guys. I haven't taken a look yet. I just wanted to thank you guys. Like Black Tree, for instance. Thank you so much for the $25 over on YouTube Super Chat. As well as Zarzar. Thank you so much for the $15 over on PayPal. Show some love to Black Tree and Zarzar. Down below in that comment section, ZAR saying, silent follower of yours for a while now. Big fan of everything that you do and all that you're passionate about. I appreciate you, Zarzar. Welcome in, Zach. Do you support Trump?
I do.
Phenomenal. Are you British?
I am.
Okay, we are only talking to people from America. No worries, though. What's up, Garrett? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I sure can. All right, let's go ahead and do a little bit of a 1v2 here. Honestly, I feel like a 1v1 is just simply unfair. So, Lively, if you want to unmute that mic, that would be great. I'm going to go and pass the mic off to you guys to tell us why you support Trump. But real quick, before I do,
Yeah, I'll let him go
Cynthia, thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo. Saying love you, Dean. Let's teach these callers some sense. Stay cool today, chat. That's a great plan, Cynthia. Let's go ahead and teach Garrett and Lively some sense. Thank you for the $25. Show some love to Cynthia down below in that chat. Take it away, you two. Why should I support Trump?
I'm excited. So the reason I support and the reason why I originally started supporting was because of because I was working construction, got a lot of overtime. And when he said that he would put no tax on overtime and tips and all that, sounded great. And then the whole Doge thing with lowering or saving money, whatever, sounded great. And then now he's not getting support from Elon, and the whole Doge thing's kind of on the side. And we don't know if the no tax on overtime and stuff like that is going to work out. And he's like putting stuff away from renewable energy. So there's a couple of things that now I'm kind of like weary about. But that was the main reason why I was supporting Trump.
Well, I'm asking you, so actually the question is, how do you still support Trump? Meaning, why do you support him today? Not necessarily why you voted for him. So I just want to clarify, do you still support Trump for these reasons?
I'd say I'm on the fence right now. So like, yes, I support him for the no tax on overtime. If that was still to go through and it's not going to put us through inflation, then I did. I also thought that...
I gotta cut you off there. So the no tax on overtime, that's included in the BBB, the Big Beautiful Bill. And the Big Beautiful Bill has had a really hard time passing through Congress. I mean, it's been stuck in the Senate now for about a month. Would you like to know why?
Yes, I'd love to. Yes.
Because it's projected to reduce the after-tax income for 80% of Americans. And it's going to cost $4 trillion to the national debt. It is one of the worst bills proposed to the American Congress in modern American history. So even though there may be some pros of it, such as no tax on overtime, overall, as long as you make under $120,000 per year, you will be served a net detriment by the bill. And there's about a billion other things that Trump is doing to reduce your purchasing power, such as the global inflation that will be onset if Iran decides to shut down their strait, and the inflation in which will be onset in the American economy via our 55% tariffs on countries like China, or the massive cuts that he's making to social safety nets for members of the low and middle class, such as Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, or food stamps, plus all of the negative economic implications onset by the mass deportation. The average American is being targeted from around a billion different angles right now by the Trump administration to make your life worse. So do not be fooled by the mirage of no tax on tips or overtime.
Okay, and then I have one other thing was the whole bombing on Iran thing. I don't see how it's like a massive negative thing because right, so he's bombing Iran because they were blanking. He bombed Iran because of the war crimes and because of the major thing, whatever it was.
Bombed Iran because of Netanyahu.
So I just want to clarify, Lively. You think it's okay to bomb countries that commit war crimes?
No, so it's not mostly the war crimes. It's because the nuclear power, which
do you think
Kamala
they have nukes?
Power.
No, so Kamala agreed, and every other Barack, all of them said that if they were going to create a nuclear power, they were going to make sure that didn't happen, or like they were going to send troops, whatever. They're going to bomb it, whatever. So I don't see how it differs from other presidents than it would for him.
Okay, can you answer my question?
Yes. What was your question?
For sure. Do you think that they have nukes?
I think that they're planning to build nukes. I don't know if they have nukes.
Do you think if we had an American president that green-lit their construction of nuclear weapons, that president should be impeached?
No.
Really? Why not?
Why? If they were gonna build nukes, and we greenlit to bomb them.
No, we greenlit them building nukes.
Yeah, but Donald Trump thought he could make
Could
a deal, right?
I have an answer to my question here? If we greenlit the terrorist government of Iran to build nuclear weapons, and we had a president that did that, should that president be impeached?
If that country was saying death to Americans, then yes.
Can I just have an answer, dude? Is it a yes or a no?
I did. I just said that. Yeah.
So the answer to the
country is saying death to Americans.
So the answer to my
yes.
question is yes, right?
If the country is threatening death to Americans,
I don't want an if.
then
I'm
yes.
asking you, in reality, right now, if Donald Trump greenlit Iran's further construction of nuclear weapons, should Donald Trump be impeached?
I'll answer. I'll say yes.
Okay, thank you, Garrett. What about you, Lively?
Yes, if the president of Iran said that, then yes. Or if
the president of Iran, the president of America. If Donald Trump greenlit Iran's further construction of nuclear weapons, should Donald Trump be impeached?
Yes.
Okay,
I
great.
agree with that.
So then both of you would agree that Donald Trump should be impeached because that's exactly what Donald Trump did when he pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement that we had with Iran, signed in 2015, in 2018.
Okay.
When Iran
come back to that, though, it's not, he didn't, like, pulling us out of that deal, it's not like he's like, all right, Iran, here's your green lit to build nukes.
It absolutely was, because that deal was the only thing preventing any further nuclear development or the enrichment of uranium in the country. Okay,
yeah, I know,
so if you think that they're working towards nukes right now, the only reason why they have the green light to do so is because Donald Trump took us out of the nuclear peace agreement with Iran.
Yeah, he did that thinking that agreement was rubbish and trash, and he thought that he could bring them back to the negotiation table and get America a better deal, correct?
So why was it trash? Is it because it had Obama's signature on it?
I'm not sure. I haven't actually looked into the deal and everything, but I am aware of that whole thing where he pulled out.
Yeah, you know that there's never been a more comprehensive nuclear peace agreement signed by any country ever. So that nuclear peace agreement it was Overseed won by the UN, but it gave the IAEA 24/7 surveillance of all of their nuclear facilities. It also obligated Iran to send 97% of their enriched uranium to Russia, as well as the IAEA reported 0 violations of the agreement in the 3 years that it was signed. So if you were going to argue that Donald Trump was justified in pulling us out of the agreement because it was trash, you, sir, have the burden to tell us why it was trash. And if you can't tell us why it is trash, I am going to wipe this shitty argument off with some toilet paper.
But that wasn't even my argument. You didn't even let me tell you why I supported Trump. The other guy went. Can I tell you why I supported Trump?
We're not going to move on because both of you you guys agreed that no, 1 second. We're not going to move on because both of you guys agreed that if we had a president greenlight Iran's further construction of nuclear weapons, they should be impeached. That's what Trump did. Trump greenlit the further construction of nuclear weapons when he pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement.
On your country, should you impeach them?
I don't understand what question you're asking me in response, but I definitely know it's not answering mine. Maybe you could ask
the whole
it after you guys could respond to what I said. Oh,
Okay,
you said border? Oh, got it. So here's the A1 MAGA tactic in a debate, everybody. As soon as the Trump supporter finds himself on a losing side of an argument, just talk about how bad Biden was for border security. But engage with a response.
Can I agree on that? Can I ask this real quick? So if someone's doing something bad, but then someone's doing what you think is worse, if there's a lesser of two evils, then you should support the lesser evil, right? I agree that Trump doesn't make the greatest decisions and everything, but I think the way the other side, the left, Kamala Harris handles international things a lot worse, dictates that's where my support goes for Trump.
So you didn't mean it when you told us that you would agree and support the impeachment of Donald J. Trump for greenlighting Iran for their further construction of nuclear weapons. Also, keep in mind that if Donald Trump... No, you guys are going to let me finish speaking. You guys are going to let me finish speaking. Stop fucking talking. So we also have to understand here that Kamala Harris wouldn't be the alternative to Trump today. It would be J.D. Vance. If Trump was thrown out of the office, J.D. Vance would be the one to step up. So your argument is invalid off of the get-go. Remember,
that's a great
you
point.
guys are still interrupting me. With the claim that you guys agreed to that we're discussing right now is the fact that you guys said if Donald J. Trump greenlit the further enrichment of uranium for nuclear-grade weapons in Iran, that he should be impeached. I explained to you exactly how that is something that he did when he pulled us out of the nuclear peace agreement we had with a country. So does this mean that you guys support the impeachment of Donald Trump, the 47th president of America?
I guess without me doing further research, I have to say yes to that because I'm not aware of the deal. But based on what Kamala and Biden did and the left did to our own home, I think I support Trump just because he handles those situations way better than they ever did by allowing an invasion into our country and terrorists to invade.
Right. What about you, Lively?
So my argument would be that if Trump did plan to revise that agreement, then your argument for us saying that if he gave the green light, then we agree that he would be impeached. If he planned to revise that agreement, then he wasn't giving any green light to build nuclear plants or nuclear power. It would just be that
he wanted to revise.
He wasn't giving them the green light
in office, and then he got out of office, and then you can never revise the deal. That's my understanding on the situation.
Could you guys show me his attempt to revise the deal after he pulled us out of it in 2018?
He never got an attempt because he never got a second term until now.
So he had 2 years to revise it.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean
2.5. So could you guys show me an attempt from Trump to revise the deal in the 2.5 years after he pulled us out?
No, let me do some further research on that. See if he actually made an attempt on that.
Great. So it sounds like both of you guys agree that Trump should be impeached. Debate's over.
Okay, but can you agree that Biden and Kamala, the lesser of two evils, though? That's kind of my point. Right?
I can't even. I don't agree to that. But it's like talking about that is just wasting time. The debate's over. You guys both agreed.
But the debate isn't over because they allowed an invasion before this whole Iran situation, and so I care about more about.
This is a massive cope. The question on top of my head says, how do you still support Trump? Well, I got you guys to agree he should be impeached. You don't support him.
Okay, I guess I don't support him. I support him more than the other side is what I would say. So I guess if that doesn't fit your question, then I should leave.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now that I guess both of you guys have conceded there super duper hardly, I'll let you make your argument.
I didn't concede. I just support him more than the other side.
So if Kamala Harris was president right now, do you think that she's done anything that should be impeachable?
Yeah, I think she allowed an invasion to our home country by allowing terrorists. And
how did she do that?
She was handed the border situation by President Biden, and she failed. They allowed over 1 million. I don't know the exact number, but I know it was like 10 million, right? Or what was the?
Okay.
How many people got into our?
So you said that she was handed the border by Biden, and then she allowed an invasion. So this
Yeah.
is a purely rhetorical argument that is driven by propaganda on Fox Entertainment and similar fake news sources. What was the specific task assigned to her by President Biden during their 4-year term?
I mean, yeah, Dean, you have me here. I don't have all the facts on just from like my understanding, like she failed at the border, which causes the international crisis. And I think Trump handles like our safety at home better than the other side. Maybe not internationally, but
Okay, so let's not get too far off base because I want to talk about your claim. So just to clarify, you don't know the specific task that she was assigned by Biden. The specific task that she was assigned by Biden was to diplomatically work with Southern Latin American countries to make their economies better, to reduce the incentive that individuals had to migrate to America following the outcome of the pandemic, and she did so successfully. She was able to reduce immigration from Guatemala by upwards of 50%. So when we look at the specifics, we evaluate exactly what she was assigned to do by the president. It is the case that she excelled, and she did so incredibly well. So no, you cannot say that she was handed a task to manage the border by Biden and she failed at that task. That was wrong.
who would you blame for the border crisis then? Who would take fault for that?
Yeah, for sure. Well, if you're asking me what caused the border crisis, it was very obviously the pandemic and the expiration of Title 42, as well
So you
as
don't-
Donald Trump's rhetoric. What I mean by this is, first and foremost, we had a pandemic that crashed the economies in a lot of countries, meaning that there was more incentive for immigration into America, meaning that we should expect more immigration into America. But that
Okay,
was
so if you
compiled.
expect
I'm still
that,
talking.
though-
What are we doing?
Sorry.
I like these constant interruptions are just unreal.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't debate. I jumped the gun a lot. That's my apologies. Let me finish. Sorry.
So there we have the explanation for the incentive for mass immigration to America. But where did all those individuals find themselves during the pandemic? Well, locked out. When Title 42 was in effect, there was no way to immigrate into this country. So then we had over a year and a half where the legal means of entry into America were backlogged and nobody could come in. Now, the moment Title 42 is lifted, we had everybody trying to come in at once. And for that reason, the legal means of entry into this country were made significantly unattainable. But then you had Donald Trump going on TV, Twitter, and Truth Social saying that the border's wide open. And what that told to all those immigrants was that they could just come in with the use of undocumented means. So that's why we could blame the pandemic. We could blame the neglect that our Congress has shown to the legal means of entry into this country. And we could blame Trump and his rhetoric for the incentivization of mass immigration into this country, the use of undocumented means. And if you're curious what the Biden-Harris administration tried to do about it, well, they tried to make the legal means of entry into this country significantly more attainable by advocating for the bipartisan border bill that would have hired more judges to expedite all legal claims of immigration, whether that's citizenship, residency, or asylum. And then what did Donald Trump do? He turned around and he told the Republicans in Congress to torpedo it so the Biden-Harris administration couldn't do anything to effectively reduce the incentive for undocumented entry. So the problem would persist so he could run on it and win, then win on the issue in the election. And then after winning on the issue in the election, he hasn't done jack shit to address that root cause of undocumented entry, which is unattainable legal means of entry. You couldn't give me one example in the last 150 days, or better yet, the last 10 years of Donald Trump even standing in front of a microphone at a podium saying he wants to make the legal means of entry into America better to get rid of the incentive for undocumented entry. And if you want to ask me why that is, it's because he doesn't actually care. Okay? He wants the issue to persist, and he just wants to quote unquote fix it with short-term solutions like deploying the military to the southern border or scaring undocumented immigrants away by violating the human rights of the immigrants that are in this country. So he can forever run on the issue every 2 and 4 years, either for members of Congress or him and his cronies for the presidency. And that's the truth of the situation, sure. There's so much indoctrination and brainwashing done on behest of the GOP and mainstream media to convince you and every other American that the Democrats are the issue and they have no clue how to handle immigration, that Donald Trump is the savior, but that couldn't be farther from the truth.
So you put no blame on the party that was in the president on allowing an invasion into our nation. Like there's no, like, I understand that, like, yeah, the pandemic and maybe
So you're
Trump's,
just repositing your original claim of saying that they allowed it. I just gave you a 3-minute explanation of how that's not true.
So you're saying they take no responsibility for that at all? Like when you're in charge. So let's say I'm in charge of something, and yeah, it's not my fault that things were left this way. but now it's my responsibility to handle it, and they didn't handle it at all.
Well, they tried to handle it, and Trump stopped them.
They shot that claim down with the. But I mean, I just see they allowed an invasion. Now there's terrorists into our country.
Right,
and
you're just repositing that original claim, even though I've debunked it 5 times. Come on, man.
You're right. But when Trump was in 2016 to 2020, no one got in, and then 20 to 24.
Oh, okay, so that means that they must have repealed some of Trump's policy that prevented entry, right?
Or, maybe, yeah. I mean, I see your point on this. I mean, okay. I'll do further digging to that because that actually, that makes sense from where you're coming from on that.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy you see my point on that, Garrett. I'm sorry for being a little bit abrasive with you throughout this conversation.
I get it.
I've had my guard really high up for the last couple of days because most of the people that I've talked to have really sucked. So I want to apologize to you for treating you the same way I've treated the people that really suck. I could tell you're here in good faith.
Yeah, thank you. I'll do further research, I guess. I want to be more involved in the topic so I can have a better conversation with you because I just don't feel like I'm well equipped enough. But yeah, I'll try hopping back on, and I don't want to say like just prove your point, but yeah, just see if I can see anything that would make sense for why those things happen.
That's the second best response that anybody could give on this live. Now, the first best response would be say, Dean, you're right. I no longer support Trump. Okay, and that's what's preferable. But the second best response is to say, Dean, I can't prove you wrong, so I'm going to go out and do more research to try to prove you wrong. So I appreciate you for giving the second best response. Many don't. Garrett, I hope you have a good rest of your day and you look into these things. Because I'm not going to lie, what's driving a lot of your views here is going to be racist societalization surrounding immigrants and what immigrants have done in this country and the culpability and a fictitious blame on immigrants for issues that persist in the country. And this is consequential of Donald Trump. This is consequential of mainstream media. This is consequential of political propaganda. And actively sitting down, doing your research to figure out the facts is deconstructing that. So please go do that, man. But have a good rest of your day, Garrett.
Yeah, you too. Have a good one.
All right, we're going to go.
So I have a question, Dean. So how would you have wanted Trump in this current situation to have handled the Iran situation? How would you, instead of bombing, if they were indeed making nuclear power, what would you have suggested he done?
Right. So, I mean, I said this yesterday and I'll repeat it again today. On my live streams and the videos that I post on my accounts, I try to provide accurate and reliable information. And when it comes to what a specific better solution would be, I just simply lack the background in understanding the government of Iran. I lack the background in understanding foreign affairs and state diplomacy. So I don't think I would be able to give you a specific answer. However, even though I can't give you a specific answer on what we should have done, I can give you a specific answer of what we shouldn't have done, right? And we shouldn't have unnecessarily involved ourselves in a war that we had nothing to do with. We shouldn't have jumped the gun and bombed their country with, the control that they have over retaliatory responses that can really hurt this country, such as shutting down that strait. And we shouldn't have done whatever we wanted for the state of Israel and shilled out for them and all of their hopes, dreams, and desires. But at this point, I'm going to move on to that next guest. I appreciate you for coming up here.
Yep.